Under the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, people who are deaf or hard of hearing are entitled to the same services provided to anyone else. They may not be excluded or segregated from services, be denied services, or otherwise be treated differently than other people. Organizations are required by law to communicate effectively with individuals who are deaf or hard of hearing. To ensure effective communication, ADA requires that organizations provide communication aids and services when requested. Examples may include sign language ASL interpreters, video remote interpreting VRI, captioning, note takers, assisted listening devices, and written notes. The ADA also requires that an organization give primary consideration to the method of communication that the individual requests. This means it is the deaf individual's decision to indicate what method best meets their needs. And organizations cannot charge the person for any of these aids or services. Organizations are required to provide a qualified sign language interpreter when requested. A qualified interpreter is one who can interpret effectively, accurately, and impartially. To request a sign language interpreter or for additional information, please call the Cleveland Hearing and Speech Center at 216-231-0787. For additional information about ADA requirements, please visit ada.gov. Using an interpreter to facilitate communication with a person who is deaf takes knowledge and practice. When an interpreter is required, here are some tips to ensure effective communication. Look and speak directly to the deaf individual, not the interpreter. Use a normal pace when speaking, not too slow or too fast. Use first-person language. Avoid saying, "Tell them to." Everything spoken will be interpreted. Don't ask the interpreter not to sign certain things. Let's take a look at an interviewer without experience working with an interpreter.
Hello, my name is Lewis. I'm here for the interview.
Hello, Lewis. My name is Maria. I'll be your interviewer today. And you are?
This is our interpreter. Her name is Brooke.
Wonderful. Please have a seat.
Oh, if you don't mind, I'll have the interpreter sitting next to you so I can see both of you at the same time. I don't want to bend my neck looking back and forth.
No problem. Okay, good. Brooke, have a seat. Great. Okay, Brooke, would you please tell Lewis to...
Oh, if you don't mind, can you look at me during this interview? I mean, it's for communication purposes.
Lewis, I'm hoping that you...
Oh, you can talk in a normal voice. It's easier for both of us to understand.
Okay, good enough. Lewis, I sent you a letter last week with some forms. Did you bring those with you?
Yes, I have them.
Oh, great. Okay, let's see here.
Oh, excuse me. Do you mind putting the paper down so I can see your face while you're talking?
I noticed that the form needs to be signed and dated. Could you do that, please?
Sure.
So, Brooke, what a nice shirt.
She said I have a nice shirt.
Oh, no, 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 no. I was talking to you. Wasn't talking to Lewis.
Oh, well, the interpreter is required to sign everything you say during the meeting.
I see. I'm sorry. This is my first experience interviewing someone who is deaf. So I apologize. Thank you very much. So, Lewis, tell me what makes you interested in this job? What skills do you bring to this position?
I have researched this company, and I feel like my skills are a good match for this company. I have a degree in computer sciences, and I have a 5-year experience as well in developing apps.
Very good.
Along with these tips, here are some things to keep in mind when working with an interpreter. The role of an interpreter is to facilitate communication. They do not have personal knowledge about the individual who is deaf or hard of hearing. American Sign Language does not follow English word order and is not English on the hands. As a result, there will often be a time lag when using an interpreter. Be patient. Only use qualified interpreters. Avoid using family, friends, or unqualified volunteers. Lastly, to ensure the individual completely understands the information, ask questions and clarify terms. Not all interactions require an interpreter. Furthermore, there are some individuals who may request other types of accommodations in order to effectively communicate. And there are some deaf individuals who do not use sign language. For situations when an interpreter is not required, there are some ways to facilitate communication and enhance the interaction you have with a deaf individual. A few examples of such encounters are a casual interaction with a coworker, reviewing a daily assignment with a boss, a routine traffic stop by a police, or a patient asking a question of a pharmacist. Communication of any kind takes skill. Understanding what works and what doesn't work takes practice. Here are some tips to help you be more effective when communicating with deaf or hard of hearing individuals. Before speaking, get the person's attention with a wave of the hand or a gentle tap on the shoulder. Be aware of lighting and how you position yourself. Make sure to face the person and maintain eye contact. Avoid turning away while you are speaking. Avoid covering your face or mouth. Individuals who are deaf or hard of hearing rely on mouth movements and expressions to enhance their understanding. Don't assume someone wearing a hearing aid can hear you or distinguish speech. Hearing aids may be worn solely for the purpose of detecting environmental sounds. There may be times that you need to use a louder voice for a person who is hard of hearing. But remember, screaming will not help a deaf person hear you. When you are communicating orally with an individual who is hard of hearing, or someone who does not know sign language, speak slowly and distinctly. Use gestures and facial expressions to reinforce what you are saying. Lip reading is an acquired skill that not all individuals possess. Do not rely exclusively on lip reading. Only about 1/3 of spoken words are discernible on the mouth. This leaves a lot of room for misunderstandings. Those who are proficient lip readers have a thorough understanding of the subject covered and have a high level of English proficiency. Let's try lip reading. Did I say, "What's for dinner"? "What a winner"? Or "Where is Donna"? If you guessed "What a winner," you are correct. But you need to ask yourself, is relying on lip reading worth the gamble? For individuals whose primary language is ASL, English may be a second language. Therefore, reading and writing in English may be limited. When written communication is the only option, try to use short sentences and plain language. For example, remember, ASL and English are two distinct languages. A written note from a deaf individual whose primary language is ASL may not follow English word order. For example, this is not reflective of a deaf person's intelligence, rather the difference between two languages. For lengthy and complex paperwork, an interpreter may be needed to assist with completing or understanding written materials. Additional time or sessions may be required to ensure effective communication. We hope you found this video helpful. For more information or to schedule an interpreter, please call the Cleveland Hearing and Speech Center.